Here we go again, and it is time for another sprint zone. This one's for 1021, and as always, I would like to thank those who have sent me the telemetry. We have longtime member, hasn't been back in a while, Byron Besserell, who sent in his telemetry. Got Ron Kennedy with his, got JC with his, and of course mine, as my power working meter is working this time. We start off with the Ron cam, only because, something a little different, and we can see the back of the Peloton and what it looks like. And of course, thanking Ron always for his camera view, which I'll definitely need at the end of this one. Looking at the group, everybody is pretty happy. Everybody riding bar to bar, proper spacing, things are looking good, and I am very happy about how things are progressing here. Week after week, saying enough stuff, and people start to ride, well, more or less correct. Heading into the sprint zone, a little bit of relaxation here. Everyone is trying to, as usual, position themselves, but coyly so. They're like, I'll just kind of, surreptitiously kind of like back off to get myself a good position, and then no one will notice because I'll be taking a drink or something. Yeah, we know your games. Been there. Well, actually, I haven't done that. Maybe I have in my younger days, but I digress. So now it's game on. Heading into the corner, and we've got Jamie in front of me, looking really strong. I think she hasn't been on a group ride since like July, but it's Jamie, so she's always strong. Looking back there, we got Byron and Tony bringing up the rear, and Danny has taken a flyer off the front. Like earlier, like Danny's pants were like on fire. We were at the Harmony and County Road 5 intersection. He's like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I'm like, people were going. I mean, what do you want? And I expected, and I told him, I expect to see something. And of course, something has actually happened. So Carrie's going up the road here and there's no reaction from the Peloton. Like if Danny goes off the front, there's no need, no disrespect. There's no need for alarms. We got two supers back here, JC and Byron, and enough horsepower to bring these guys back. Danny anyhow easily. Carrie, well, Carrie's dangerous, especially when you only got like 3.5 miles. And if he gets enough distance, this could be trouble. There's a good shot of Byron properly wearing the cape, unlike pretenders. And we can see Ryan back there not wearing his cape today. Ryan's in the black, which is kind of cool, giving proper homage, because you can't be wearing the cape when the real supers are there. Just doesn't look good. In any case, Kathy's kind of like trying to pull the group, and there's no reaction. I think it's like Steve up there, and he didn't see any need to be on Kathy's wheel. So she's kind of just hanging out there. I'm not certain what that was about. Either she went by too fast. I don't think so. They could have easily jumped on that and saved themselves a little bit. But, maybe that would have been like Cat 5 behavior, just jumping on anything. But I would have taken the free ride. In any case, it's nice to see that she's out there working. And there's a little bit of power being thrown down. There's so many numbers on the screen. It's like pick your favorite person to like look at, make comparisons. At this point, like my heart rate's by far the highest at 167, and it's like the COVID thing again. Like got the COVID, high heart rate, things settled down after about 6 months, and then it happened again, and then I noticed my heart rate's back up again. So, crap. In any case, looking rearward there, it's go time as JC has gone to the front, and it is time to bring people back, and things are getting strung out. There's Kathy drifting back slowly after she was brought in. Maybe she'll watch this. We'll see how things are going. But there's JC up front, and he's a slippery guy. I mean, I'm looking at his power. He's pulling these guys back at only like 290, maybe 300 watts, and we're doing 27 miles an hour. Looking at Byron's like 30-second power is like 80. And you don't want to be towing supers around. Byron also must be very slippery, or he needs his power meter calibrated. But he's just kind of just back there. Heart rate's pretty low. He and Ron similar, but look at Ron's power, 170, 180 for 30 seconds, and Byron's is just so much lower than like everybody else's. Ron has the lowest heart rate, and JC Second highest of mine. We're not even count mine because I'm at 173 now. I didn't feel like 173. I felt like, threshold, which for me is around 167. But anyhow, JC is out front and making it happen. Jamie right on the wheel. And she is also putting out a lot of power to stay right behind the big man because we all know that you only save maybe 20% when you're behind the big man. JC's power now creeping up. 294 for 30 seconds, 290, and then we hit the big 300. His heart rate only 155, and that's an indication of the big block. And it looks like our prey, that would be Carrie and Danny out there, are to be brought back. And it looks like JC is going to single-handedly bring them back, not looking for any assistance. And this is the true mark of a super. And it's nice. It's nice that we didn't chase these guys right down, with what I call Cat 5 fever. Good look at Kurt back there. He was taken over from Byron. Byron's power even now creeping up there, 250 for 30 seconds. So as the grade rises, so does his power. And looking at the heart rates, Byron up to 151. So maybe no joke. JC 156. So if I had to make a comparison here, I would say that JC was in fact the bigger engine, but we don't know what the headroom is here. But JC out front, low heart rate for what he's doing out there, and we are almost up on our quarry. And that was a nice try. And I looked and I saw Carrie was doing the lion's share of the work. Maybe if Danny could have given him some assistance up there, more assistance, but you're talking about trying to keep a super away. And that is just not going to happen, despite the fact that he does not wear a cape. NEK, JC, and just like the boys in the TDF, just like the boys that chase folks down on the big stage, not afraid to go right through everybody. And it is wise that Jamie does not follow. And JC to the front again. Look at that. And this is one of those inflection points. This little hill is where selections used to be made. And looks like Ron was back a little bit, has to make up some ground. Looks like he got gapped by somebody, but he's pulling through here. JC still up front. And you can see Ron has made it back into the fold. And you can see yours truly wearing the Teletubby camera, as he comes up alongside of me. Good selection here, it looks like, but a big selection. And finally, JC gives up the ghost. Well done, sir. Well done. Keeping people honest. Everybody working hard. And now perhaps the rotation will start. No one looking for any respite. But let's just see how fast JC's heart rate comes down as he cruises to the rear. You see him passing Ron's camera there. I'm sitting behind Kurt. Doesn't come out very often. May even be his second or third time, if not first time. But it's good to see folks from other groups coming in. Good shot of Ron and Steve back there. Ron's power looking good, 130s. My 30-second power on the 190s. I must be fat or something, because why am I pushing so many more watts than Ron? But now, yeah, as far as 30-second power. Interesting. Oh, maybe because am I on the aero bike? I forgot what I brought. No, I did not bring the aero bike. I should probably do that. But it's the same vintage as Ron's. A specialized tarmac with fat tubes, pushing lots of air. And compared to these other bikes, even JC's bike, stuff like Byron, I'll make the analogy here. 6th generation fighter against, a 4th generation fighter, like Ron and I have. So we're bleeding off watts when we're at the pointy end of the stick. And this is perhaps one of the reasons why Byron's wattage is just so low, just because not only is he slippery, but his bike is slippery. And time to go to the front here. And Kurt goes to the front. And I probably should not have gone to the front, but I felt guilty sitting back there for the whole time. Heart rate's finally recovered in the 169s, but it's probably up like 10 beats more than it should be. And it looks like there's some coagulation back there, as it was a big thundering herd, people looking for position but not wanting to string things out, which is good. So Kurt's pushing pretty hard. Now my heart rate's at 177, and I'm just sitting in. So at this point, I know I'm not going to have anything for the sprint. I mean, if the sprint were to happen right now, yeah, I could throw down some wattage and make something happen for about 15, maybe 10 seconds. But if I have to go to the front and go anaerobic, it's going to be all over. But you can see people positioning themselves. Look at Byron's wattage. Only like 90 watts for 30 seconds. That is why he's the bad boy here, or he needs to have his power meter recalibrated. And if that in fact is the case, he's put on a lot more watts than even is being displayed here. Maybe you can comment about the last time he calibrated it or what power meter he's using. Anyway, Kurt up at the front doing the lion's share for the last bit, sacrificing himself. And now it is my turn to throw myself up on the hand grenade, pulling people and everybody. They're just kind of just waiting there. My 30-second power, 260, and creeping up slowly, slowly to and 177 my heart rate. So I'm at my limit pretty much as far as being able to stay on the front. And there we go. JC's power, 350, 370, 400. And Ron's power, 260, as I wave goodbye to everybody. Marcelo tagging in as we switch over to the Ron cam. Ron's in there nicely. Even my 30-second power, 300, but not enough to stay with the group here. Byron's wattage, 700 watts now. The big engine's been the kick. And look at JC's power, 700 watts. What is going on here? Byron's slow cadence. I probably should put the cadence up for people too. But there's Byron going to the front and JC hitting hard and Daniel in the mix. You know, I asked Daniel for his power meter, but Daniel doesn't have power. So, wow, interesting there. JC and the big battle of the big men. So the cape is flapping on Byron, and he kind of just sets up. You can see the power just drop off. And he kind of gives this one to Daniel, although Daniel kind of deserved it because he was there. Good job, Ron, for capturing this. 4th place, looking good here. This one was exciting. Probably the first time in a long time that 2 supers have shown up, and the selection was huge. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that didn't want to go to the front, and we could name them. And it's cool. You know, you get to sit in there and go for the sprint. You know, and that's a good goal. That's not my goal at this point. Just need to work hard and be able to do my over-unders because I am not motivated to do any of this here interval stuff. Any of this structured training. Oh, this might change, you know, over the winter because the OCR is getting like really hard. OCR is basically TTH light. There, I said it out loud. TTH light. And back in the day, I used to do the TTH. And I was one of those people that would like hang on. And it was, you know, all I could do. In any case, this was a good one. I enjoyed that. Well done, everyone. Till next week, party on.